Hey, this is Dr. Heather Tucker coming to you with another message for Freedom Fridays. And yes, today is Saturday. However, the message is even more powerful today than it would have been if I recorded this yesterday. So just consider it Freedom Fridays still. Friday is like the day of probably the most happiness. People are looking forward to the weekend. People are glad that the work week is over, etc., etc. Now, business builders out there, you know that every day is like a Friday. And so that's pretty cool. Okay, so here's the message. I had posted on my Facebook profile yesterday that in order to be able to know and have full power and clarity with where we're going, we have to be able to understand and have full clarity with where we've been. And that includes that peace and healing that's so needed. So, this is Black History Month. And this is the month, although it's the shortest month of the year, I think that Black History Month should be every month, but this is the time to be able to acknowledge some of the stuff that has happened, especially to the Black culture and the Black people so long ago. And the thing is, these things that happened then still impact us now. So what am I talking about with this? I tell this story about a study that researchers had done. And they had, what they did was they had this group of rats. And these group of rats, they fed them sandalwood smoke. And then after the smoke, they would shock them. So it had become where those who, as soon as they fed them sandalwood smoke, the rats would brace for the shock because they knew it was coming. Now those rats had babies and died off, and those babies grew up. They didn't do anything to them at all. They had the best life. They were living, I guess, the lifestyle of the rats, rich and famous. Now, what happened was those rats had babies, and as soon as they fed the sandalwood smoke to those babies, they braced for the shock like their ancestors did. So a lot of times, the stuff and difficulties that we have, especially with negative emotions, anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, doubt, all of these different things, disappointment, rejection, um, all of that, a lot has to do, it trickles down from generation to generation. Now the good news is that we can be able to heal these things, yet first, before we heal them, we got to be able to understand and acknowledge and be aware that, you know what, maybe this difficulty of moving forward in this may not have necessarily fully to do with just my life experience now. It could have been passed down as well. So it really is even looking at it almost applies to everything. Even our perception of money uh, can be influenced by our ancestors' perception of money as well. Even our relationships can be influenced by our past relationships as well. Now, here's the thing, it's all learning. It's all about, first of all, being aware. And one of the things that we work with is helping people and supporting people to healing the past, so therefore they can live more in the present and have a bigger vision for the future. A lot of times we focus on doing, moving forward, and not acknowledging the pain of the past because it's a lot of time too scary. Most people want to run away from pain. Who wants to experience pain? I know I didn't. And it's when you take that journey back to go ahead and acknowledging that pain, healing that pain, being aware of that pain and how it may have influenced us now, then once we face it, then there's nothing that can stop us from being able to move forward. So I talk about all the time, we don't have to have a great past to have a great future. And that is so, so very true. Because whoever we think we are, we're so much more than that. You know, it's funny, like the enemy of the devil will try to make us feel like we're so insignificant and so small. And I remember feeling that way even with all of the accomplishments that I had. Yet there's a great power when you know that, yeah, you may feel, oh, I'm not good enough. You may not be good enough, but you're great enough. There's whoever we think we are, we're so much more powerful than that. And when we step into that bigger and better version of ourselves, we become unstoppable. Like I said, unstoppable. If there's been a vision or a calling that we've had on our life, there we can get so caught up in the fear or even the what it looks like yet, and never even really live our calling. What is the richest place in the world? Do you know? The richest place in the world is the graveyard. Think about all of the unfulfilled dreams, unfulfilled talents, unfulfilled gifts and knowledges that people have had. Yet we got so caught up in what things look like that they never came to fruition. So know that wherever you've been through, regardless, you don't have to have a great past to have a great future. And that goes into so many different things. The last thing I just want to touch base on is that there's a battle going on. There's a battle going on if you've been called for greatness. It's almost like I remember when I stepped out to become, or said, I'm a life harmony coach. And then every single thing just went chaotic. It's almost like God said, well, okay, well, if you're the life harmony coach, let's see how you handle all of these different situations. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Obstacle here, obstacle there. I don't know what's going on. Yes, it was all really the journey to be able to become resilient. So life is not happening to us, it's happening for us. And when I talk about this battle, just like, so let's take two big things: businesses, relationships, especially marriages. It's almost like as soon as we get married, that spiritual battle begins. So whereas there are some people and forces and entities that want us to do well in the business and do well in our marriages, there's also things that are coming against us that don't want us to do well and don't want us to be able to move to that next step. And we have to be able to recognize and be filled up knowing that whatever comes our way, it does not matter, because our current situations do not define our final destinations. Remember, our current situations do not define our final destination. All right, well, I think that's enough for today. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And to let you know, I'm getting ready to go to the Red Box, and I'm going to get Harriet. So therefore, my son and my husband and me, we're going to sit down and have a movie night. We're going to talk about this movie and know that this new generation, they don't really know the battles that our forefathers have gone through. And they need to. They really need to, because it's part of their history. It's part of their culture as well. And then they can also be able to appreciate how far we've come. All right, I'll talk to you soon. This has been Dr. Heather.